Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name's Rob, and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist. Every Tuesday, the Access team takes inspiration from a recent or upcoming release to start a conversation about some of our favourite games. This week, we've been getting stuck into open-world orc-slaying simulator Shadow of War with its one-of-a-kind Nemesis system, which got us thinking about all those times enemies in video games have made things really personal. Nathan kicks us off with a story from the Midde-Earth front line.
So I have an entire community of bosses who made it personal, and then one in particular, and they're from Midde-Earth. Specifically from Mordor. The hook of the last game was the Nemesis system, which is where there was like, I can't remember how many individualized orcs they made, but they basically, they had a kind of Assassin's Creed style let's run around in Mordor game, and then that might have been fun, but then what they found that the actual brilliant bit was if you made it so that orcs had a bit of a personality, and if they killed you, then they were really pleased about it and they got promoted, and then they were harder to kill and you could go on vendetta missions.
I love the idea of a pleased orc. They're never pleased.
So in Shadow of War, the system's better. And my story really is bound up, as it is in so many ways, with the specific way I was playing the game because of work, right? So we want to make a video about Shadow of War. So it's like, Nath, play the game for as long as you can, but unlock stuff quickly. You've got loads of stuff on. So like, I'm trying to level up as quickly as I can. So I'm partly enjoying the game, but I'm also like, let's just unlock all the cool stuff so we can show our lovely viewers. And so I didn't really, want to get into a back and forth with an orc, but guess who didn't care, Dave?
The orc.
Yes.
What's his name?
Mr. Cuddly.
Skak Hot Tongs.
Wow, that was real name.
Skak Hot Tongs. He didn't care.
Skak Hot Tongs.
What they can do this time, which I don't think they did in the last game, certainly not to my knowledge, was he just ambushed me. So I'd done like a really long, drawn out fight with another captain. I had loads of other orcs chasing me. I ran up to a rooftop and I was like safe, but really low health. And he just came from nowhere and murdered me. So.
You again.
And this is the first time he killed me. This is why me and Skak Hot Tongs are not friends, and in fact why he's no longer alive. So I did the thing that you always have to do. Even though I still have a lot of video left to make, I had to pursue this vendetta to the end of the earth. So I had to take revenge on him. I planned meticulously. He was vulnerable to stealth, to executions, to explosions, and he's scared of beasts. He's actually not that hard. Apart from his hot tongs, Skak doesn't really have that much going on. So I went in, and my plan was initially to go with stealth, and I could do. He was vulnerable to arrows and shadow shot, so I could just kill him. But I messed it up because there was a crowd of orcs around him, and accidentally, instead of just shooting him in the back of the head, I teleported directly next to him. Oh, no. and he saw me. So it was a bad start, but then I was like using all of my stuff. He's really hard, turns out. So I'm like stealthing him, I burnt him a little bit, and in the end I saw some bait hanging up, and I realised, oh yeah, of course he's like susceptible to beasts. So I shot the bait down. I was thinking some Caragors are going to come. Yeah, I'm going to jump on the Caragor because I've unlocked. I can mount Caragors now, nice. But nothing else. And I thought I had this vision of me like eating this guy on the ground and like riding away on my Caragor, feeling amazingly pleased. Basically, a giant Graug turns up. I just stood like a bird, watching for a while, saw him like squish Skak to pieces. Hot Tongs didn't factor, just didn't come into it. And then I jumped down to grab the gear that Skak had left. And the long and short of it is that the Graug is now my new enemy.
Okay, so an enemy that really, really makes it personal, for me at least, was Sephiroth from Final Fantasy Sephiroth Gold.
And it's not me, it's not me.
I didn't say a word, I know what
Sephiroth!
Yeah, him. But I remember when I first played Final Fantasy VII, just being, first of all, in awe of Sephiroth, because the way it introduces him is really, really cool. Well, actually, he slaughters an entire bunch of people in this government building, and there's like blood everywhere. And you're like, oh my god, he must be so powerful. But then you get a flashback a little later on when you're being introduced to Sephiroth's origins, and by this stage in the game, you're maybe like level 10 or 11. You're doing maybe 50 or 60 damage per attack. And in the flashback, Cloud is level 1. He's like a little teenager doing, no damage with his attacks. But Sephiroth is in your party for this bit, and he just has this massive sword, and he does like 4,000 damage per hit. So you get an amazing close-up view of how incredibly powerful Sephiroth is. And you're just chasing him through the world whilst he does all these incredibly evil, powerful things. There's this one bit of the game you have to cross a marsh, and it's got a massive serpent in it. And you have to catch a chocobo, because that's the only way you can quickly get across the marsh and not be caught by this serpent. Anyway, you get across the marsh and you just see this serpent just impaled on like a tree trunk. And Sephiroth has just done it. And it's just like this huge 50-foot snake, just like. But then, as you all probably know by now, Sephiroth does the thing that makes you really, really, really hate him. Spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. And he kills Aeris. It just incites such a burning hatred of him as well, because he's got such a smug little smiley face when he does it. Just comes down with his sword, like just a little smirk.
Yeah.
I can't see Snap.
I killed your girlfriend. Yeah, so he kills Aeris.
This is what fanfiction.net is for.
Somebody will gift that now.
And it just makes you furious. You're just burning with rage. Like, Sephiroth is a really charismatic, I don't want to say likable, but you feel like a draw to Sephiroth. He's a really interesting character. And he goes and does that. And so he's got this incredible aura about him anyway. And now that aura is filled with hatred for him. And I wanted to kill Sephiroth like I've not wanted to kill any bad guy in any game ever. Just wanted him dead so bad. And it was incredibly satisfying at the end when you get to fight him.
You must have really loved Aeris.
Yeah, well, as much as...
You thought that was the reason that you made me angry?
Pretty useless.
That's all I'm saying about Sephiroth. A bad man. Bad man who I wanted to kill, and then you get to do the amazing Omni/ Limit Break finisher on him at the end. It's just great.
Did you do a little miniature version of it just then?
Yeah. That's exactly how Cloud does it.
I can't wait to do the one-man theatre production of
Final Fantasy VII.
I'd watch that.
Sephiroth with his...
So one sort of enemy that I suppose I really wanted to kill by the end of the game because he had infuriated me so much is a character called Nishikiyama. And it's a series that I'm really into at the moment, which is the Yakuza series. Yay!
Which game is... I've forgotten that person's name already.
So Nishiki, so this is specifically talking about Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of the original Yakuza game, and Yakuza Kiwami just came out on PlayStation 4. So Yakuza 0 is basically about you, Kiru, and your brother Nishiki, and you are like ride or die brothers, you're best friends, you go through thick and thin together. And then you start Yakuza Kiwami, and you have like a sister from the orphanage, this girl called Yumi, and you fall asleep at the bar, and you just get this phone call like, something bad's happened. So you rush over to your boss's office, the Dojima office, and find that he's been shot. And it was Nishiki who shot him because he was rescuing Yumi. You take the fall for it. You were like, just run. The police are coming, just run, just go. So you tell your brother to get out of there, you'll take the fall. You go to prison for 10 years for this. And then when you get out, he's turned into an arsehole. He's now the head of the Nishikiyama family, and he is chasing this mysterious 10 billion yen, but he will basically do anything to get it. Like, he literally kills a man, and then with the blood-stained hand, slicked his hair back, and now he's evil. But he's your brother, and like you went to prison for him. And so much so that in Yakuza games, it's all about the back tattoos. They're incredible, and they're quite personal. So Kiru has the dragon, and he is known as the Dragon of Dojima. And so Nishiki gets a koi, the carp, with the idea being that there's a famous story of a koi swimming upriver and going through the dragon gate. And as it did this, because it was so impossible for a koi to do it, it actually turned into a dragon itself. So it's all about, that's how much he hates his brother, is that like he's gone to this length to have this koi on his back to be like, yeah, look, I'm gonna beat you.
Why does he hate you? You went to prison for it.
Exactly, but there's a whole lot of love triangles and crazy stories. But you're turning up, and he's like sending his men to come and kill you. In Yakuza games, you can tell it's serious when they start ripping their clothes off. I was like, I've got a tattoo, and then it always accumulates in a shirt ripping battle between two Yakuza members, and everyone's topless, and everyone's got their tattoos out, and everyone's just thumping each other.
I'm trying to think of examples of. So I think I'm the only person here who's got a brother, right?
Yes, I'm one of 3 girls.
So I was trying to think about an example of a time that my brother would really upset me, and I could think about that feeling.
So you've got a tattoo on your back of how much you want to kill him.
I had to tear my shirt off and go to prison. But all I can think of were times that I was horrible to him.
I was going to say, I bet if we asked.
So you're the Nishikiyama of the relationship.
I think I might be.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Right, my entry, I'm going to say right off the bat that there's mega spoils in this one.
Okay.
So beware. I will now say the title of the game, and if you haven't played the game and would like to, which I do suggest you do, then maybe skip me. Which is a shame because I'm genuinely one of the funnier.
Get on with it, Dave.
It's Heavy Rain. The enemy I really wanted to kill is, of course, Scott Shelby, which is incredible because you don't realise that he's the enemy until the last quarter of the game, and in fact you play as him for a large portion of the game. And actually I talked about Heart of Darkness last week, a game I finished in a weekend. Heavy Rain is another game, one of the few that I got and I just couldn't stop playing, and I played it all the way through and was absolutely blown away by it, and largely I guess because of this amazing twist. So in Heavy Rain there's the origami killer is on the loose, who is murdering children. I think it's just children. I mean, he does kill some other people as well, but he's mostly kidnapping children. And
that's his headline act.
Yeah, that's his main. That's his main deal. And he's killing them by drowning, and he's drowning them in rainwater. Hence Heavy Rain. And you play 4 characters until you kill any of them, who are all seemingly trying to track down the origami killer for different reasons. So Scott Shelby, who turns out to be the killer, is apparently, you're led to believe, a private investigator, and actually a really nice man. And one of the first things that you do as Scott Shelby is you go and visit one of the victim's parents, his mum, who is a prostitute, and she's kind of getting beaten up by this horrible man, and you run in and you can save her, and you just sit down and have a nice chat with her, and you're really understanding. And Scott Shelby is definitely a really, really nice man, definitely. Except he isn't. And the way that it's revealed is you kind of revisit, you have, by way of flashbacks, Scott Shelby sat at his desk, as he often is, and it turns out that he's got evidence around him. He's been collecting evidence, you realise, by visiting these people that you've been doing in the game, and then he's burning the evidence. What's more, because of the way Heavy Rain works, you are playing as him, you are destroying the evidence. You're choosing what you pick up, look at it, have a flashback, chuck it in a fiery bin.
How long did it take you to realise what was going on?
Well, it's revealed in a flashback, isn't it?
Well, you mean of him as being a kid?
The flashback of when they're kids, and his brother is drowned.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, Scott, don't forget me."
Yeah.
That's not explicitly revealing it then, but
no.
Everyone's like, "Oh, it's."
I'm not sure that I got it from that bit. I think I was maybe still seeing the good in him because he's so good. I was like, oh, he must really want to catch the killer because look how his brother died. Oh, it's so ironic. In conclusion, I absolutely loved Heavy Rain for loads and loads of reasons, one of which being the amazing twist that I had been the killer all along, a man who I genuinely liked and thought was a good person, and then I had to seek my revenge and kill him, but I did kill him, so it's all good.
This can be the bit before the end.
Is this the part of your entry?
No, just realised.
I haven't covered it in
My
5
enemy
minutes.
is messy beards.
Look, there's nothing worse than unkempt facial fur. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give us a like if you've enjoyed the video and let us know in the comments what video game villains made it personal for you. Don't forget you can subscribe for more of these videos every Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.